Hi, I'm Holly McKnight, and I teach in the education department at Eastern Florida State College. And I'm excited to present to you today our brand new program that's coming fall 2021, which is a science education bachelor's degree for people who want to become biology teachers. So I'm going to walk you through the steps of getting into this program and what you have to do to finish this program. So the first thing we want to look at is in order to be in this program, you must have an AA degree. Now, if you're coming to us and you already have an AA degree, that's great. But there are a couple classes that are very important that we want to make sure that you have that is there's a requirement from the state for you to be in the program. So you must have both biology 1 and 2. So you can see in term 1 that we have general biology, and then in our last term, term 5, we have general biology 2. So those two biology classes are required. If you're coming in from another institution, you can get with me separately to discuss the classes maybe that you took that you think might, be equivalent to General Bio 1 and 2. The other state requirement that is needed in order to be officially enrolled in the program is you must have introduction to the teaching professions. That is a common prerequisite for the state. So that is EDF 1005, or if you took it at another institution, it may be EDF 2005. The math classes that are required to be in the program are college algebra and statistics. So those two math classes, if you already have them, that's great. If not, those two math classes are necessary in order to be admitted into the science education program. Last, we need to look at our physical sciences. So the physical sciences from the state that you must have two sequential physical science classes in order to be in the program. However, if you're coming over from another university, you might have maybe physics 1 and 2 instead of chem 1 and 2. If that's the case, you would be able to be admitted into the program, but you would need to be aware that Chemistry 1 and Chemistry 2 and Organic Chemistry are all prereqs for upper division science classes that you will need to take within our science education program. So just to recap, we do have some common prerequisites: Bio 1 and 2, Chem 1 and 2, Algebra, and Statistics. And that would be in addition to your one teaching prerequisite class, which is Introduction to the Teaching Profession. Okay, so again, we want to have an AA degree, and we need to have those specific prerequisites in order to be admitted officially into the program. So let's take a look at our pathway for becoming a biology teacher. So here in front of you, you'll see that we have terms 1 and 2. And looking at both terms 1 and 2, we can see that we have a pattern. And that pattern is that we have a nice equal split between science classes and education classes. At this point, we don't have specific cohorts set up, but we do want to advise you that as you're going into these classes, that you don't take all the difficult science classes all in one term, because that could be a catastrophe. So we want to balance them out with some education classes, some fun classes where you're learning some great teaching techniques, going into the schools, working with students for some volunteer hours, just to get your feet wet. Term 3 we have set up for summer. Now, summer is not a requirement to be in the program, so if you work over the summer or you like to take vacations over the summer, that's fine. You are not required to take classes over the summer. However, if you're wanting to get through this program quickly, we do have classes that we will offer over the summer. So an example here would be our measurement, evaluation, and assessment, which is part of our education core, and then another education core class for teaching exceptional students in secondary. The last 2 terms are considered your senior year in the program. And so we have those broken up to where you will be finishing your what we would call your junior year. I mean, it's really your senior year, but term 4 would be finishing up, classroom management, your reading class. But you're also going to be going into the school for a junior internship. Now, a junior internship is not all encompassing like you will have the following term with your senior internship, but you will go in a couple days a week. You will work with a specific teacher in a specific science classroom, maybe a middle school, working in the class with a teacher and teaching side by side with that teacher. Again, it's not going to take up your whole schedule because you will be finishing out your last biology class, which would be a developmental biology class. And you can see that we have those prereqs of the biology class needed to be in the program and the chemistry class needed to be in the program. So those science classes for the AA degree are playing a role both in meeting the state objectives and also preparing you for classes that you need to take at the upper level. In term 5, this will be your very last semester with us, and during that class, you will be spending your entire time in a school, teaching in a classroom with a supervising teacher. So that class will be yours. So you'll work out with the teacher, are you going to teach, all 6 classes? Are you going to teach, 2 out of the 6 classes? That would be something that you would work out with your supervising teacher, but we'll be coming in to monitor you. You'll be doing reflections. We are going to have a seminar where, we're going to discuss some of the things that you're doing, your lab procedures. It's very important to Brevard Public Schools that you know how to set up a lab and facilitate a lab. So these are the sort of things that we'll be concentrating on. Once you finish the program, the bachelor's program itself is a total of 60 credits. Once you finish the program, you will take your professional exam. I may have gotten ahead of myself in term 5 before you go into that teaching, internship. You're going to want to have your subject area exam taken, which should be no problem. You'll do great. So term 5, you will be finishing up the exams that you need in order to graduate from the program and apply for your professional teaching certificate. So after you graduate, Brevard Public Schools wants you. They have it all over their website. They are very excited about this new program. They can't wait to have Eastern Florida State College biology teachers. They are 100% backing Eastern Florida State College and this program. They were part of establishing this program. So you are basically guaranteed a job if you do well in your internship when you graduate. So that is very exciting. So you come in, you get the 2-year degree, and you leave and you have a job in Brevard. So Brevard is known as being one of the best counties in the state of Florida. So highest scores, highest ranking. I mean, it's pretty phenomenal. So you'll be going into very good hands. I'm not sure that I have answered all your questions today. I've given you basically a brief overview, but if you have any questions for me, I do have my email listed here on this contact page. I'm not necessarily on campus, but if you want to call, I may or may not be there, but you can leave a message. But what's exciting that you can do is you can join my live Q&A session, which will be this Wednesday at 10 a.m. So hopefully you can meet me there and we can discuss more things like the exams that you need to have in order to be a teacher, or possibly classes that you might already have. Will they fit, the courses that we're saying are mandatory to be in the program, or any other questions that you might have. So I look forward to seeing you. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you this fall.